Hello everyone. It is DeeDee here, and I am going to share with you today how I altered the tray for inDEXed, which this is the year-long version of the kits that Miss Tina Walker and myself have put together. So this, you will notice, it's a double wide tray. We designed this specifically for the year long of inDEXed, so we could fill it full of all our favorite stuff. So the first thing I have to do now that we are done and all the kits have been released is pull out my cards. The first section of cards that I pulled out was the art supplies, and then came seeds and roots, then anatomy, then I have to go backwards, then metallic, then people, and then bugs. So these are all of the projects that I made throughout the year using these kits. And it's been such an amazing adventure. Like, I've really enjoyed it. It's been so fun designing all these products and then working closely with Tina and her designing products, and then us bringing them together to offer these mixed media kits just full of so much goodness. And the tutorials and putting all the products together to make amazing pieces of art. I seriously can't talk enough about it. I really enjoyed every tiny aspect. And the adventure isn't over, PS. So I want to talk about how I'm altering this tray, but there are also some things coming up for inDEXed. So hint, hint, sneak peek, just stay informed. The best way is to join my newsletter, and I will put a link directly in the description box of this tutorial on YouTube. So anyways, the tray has already been put together for this project. It's been put together since the beginning, and it goes together or went together just like the original tray, Rolodex tray, but this one has two tracks in it so that we could fit double wide cards and our cards could sit next to each other. The first thing I did was distress the outside of the box with some distress stain in Vintage Photo by Tim Holtz, distress ink, and I edged the outside edges with a foam tool, and then I scraped the pad directly across the chipboard to pick up the texture. And then I picked up a black soot archival ink pad, and I went around the top to darken that lip, and I also scraped it along the edges on the outside to add a little darkness there as well. So I decided in the end that I would just sort of vintage up this tray instead of doing too much collage or anything like that on top. I figured with all of the different cards that were inside it, maybe a more neutral palette would be great on the outside. So now I'm splattering some golden fluid acrylic, and this is, you'll see I actually dipped my paintbrush directly in the cap of this bottle. This is the end of my bottle. I wouldn't do that if it were a brand new, just open bottle or even like a half-used bottle, because it's important to keep the integrity of your paint, and when you start mixing in the lid, then that stuff can drip down into the bottle when you put it back on. But because this is the end of my bottle, I am using the lid as sort of a paint palette, and I added a little extra water and then splattered that around. I'm using a Faber-Castell pen, Pitt pen. It is permanent, to add some little sketchy lines along the outside of each wall, so both the sides and the front and back. I did end up leaving the bottom of this box undone, but I think it would be great to either paint it all black or add like a little kind of like rubber mat or foam mat under there so it was more like a finished art piece. I think that that would be a great addition to this, and I'm sort of sitting on it and deciding if that's exactly what I want to do. We are, at the time of this video posting and for a little bit afterwards, having a sale, by the way, on the first 4 kits that were released. So that would be the Bugs kit, the People kit, the Metallic kit, and the Anatomy kit. And I will post links to those as well, and you will see the coupon code at the end of this video, but I'll post that in the description as well. So that's a limited time sale that we're running, but it is only on those first 4 kits, and tutorials for the card creation are not included, but it's a good 30% off. And also, if you were a subscribed member, if you did either a year-long or a half-year subscription to inDEXed, then you got a special code in your email, and you should check that out because it's for a little higher than the 30% off. So please don't miss out on that. And back to the tutorial here, I am using that same golden fluid acrylic in carbon black to age or sort of patina the inside of the tray. It is a little funny to talk about because it's a paper-based product. P.S. That's my dog running around in the background like a fool, so I apologize if you can hear that. She's very excited with the new toy. But I'm using the golden fluid acrylic on my paintbrush in sort of like, almost like a haphazard manner. It's not fully covered in paint. Some areas, the paint is a little more watered down to allow the chipboard to show through. And I feel like it just sort of looks almost like the inside of an old music box, like some weathered patina, like pewter or weathered wood. I don't really know exactly what it's reminding me of. And if you do, let me know in the comments. But I feel like the distressed look of the chipboard is very cool. And again, I achieved that by not painting the entire piece, by sort of dry brushing in some areas, and also by watering down the paint in some of the other areas, so that the chipboard, the darkness of the chipboard, can still shine through. And I only do it on the inside, which is really also cool because it sets sort of this dark tone for all of the cards to sort of rest in, and they really pop out of the tray this way, whether they are more neutral or more colorful cards, depending on which one. And I do have my cards on the inside of my tray in order, but you don't have to do that. No one has to do that. You could flip them around and change them out and just have your favorite ones at the front. And by in order, I mean just like calendar order as the kits came out and the cards were created. I'm using some Fabri-Tac to glue down a watch divider cabinet card. I have these for sale in the shop. I came across a big pile of them, and I use them on almost everything. But it's kind of funny. I'm currently doing this on the wrong side. I wanted this on the front, and I didn't turn my box around after I had finished painting it, my tray. So everything I'm doing here, I'm going to have to do again on the other side. But I glued the cabinet card down, and then this inDEXed pin was a gift from Tina and I to all of the year-long subscribers. And so I thought it would be really cool to display it on my box. I poked a hole through it, and I put it on, and I was just about to close it with the clasp when I realized I was on the wrong side. So luckily, it does take just a quick second for Fabri-Tac to finish drying. So I was able to take that off and move it back over. But I don't have to remeasure where the inDEXed pin goes because I already did that. And so what I did was I had pushed the pin down into the little divider and then used an awl to drill a hole there. And so now here we are, clipping it all in, making sure that it's straight and not crooked. I really love the inside of this box. I think I'm going to have to paint more chipboard like this. It just looks so cool and old and vintagey. And then I'm going to put my cards back in. So first went in the bug kits. Oh, and then the truck, it was a free class that Tina and I did called A Buggy Christmas. Then go in my people. Oh, it's like walking down memory lane. It's so fun. I'm glad I saved the box for the end. Oh, and then metallic and anatomy. Anatomy was probably my favorite because I got to play with some sci-fi stuff, but all of them have been so stinking fun. And then seeds and roots, also a really, really good one. And art supplies, which is our most recent one. So the discount code that I mentioned earlier is coming up right now. It will only work on those first 4 kits I talked about. So Bugs, People, Anatomy, and Metallic. And the tutorials for those cards are not included. But Seeds and Roots and Art Supplies, the 2 most recent kits, are available full price. And those tutorials will be included. Here are some close-ups, and please reach out if you have any questions. inDEXed has been a hell of a ride, and there's more coming up, so stay tuned.